Transition can be scary. It can also present opportunity. Nkululeko, a nonprofit in South Africa, is currently undergoing a leadership transition from Jason Torreano to Zuko Gqadavama. This podcast explores the process of saying goodbye and hello as one leader steps back and another steps forward. This is Catalyst, the transforming nonprofit leadership. Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Catalyst Transforming Nonprofit Leadership. I'm your host, Prince, and I will be joined by my guests, Jason and Zuko from Nkululeko. How are you guys doing today? First things first.
Good to be here, Prince.
Doing good. Great to be back. Thank you.
Pleasure's all mine. All right. Now, without any further ado, today we're going to discuss the second theme, which is transferring duties and capacity building. So my first question is for you, Jason, and that is, Jason, what made you realize it was time to transfer responsibilities or duties over to Zuko in this case, and how does this relate to Nkululeko's capacity building efforts?
So you asked about transferring duties and how did you know it was time? For me, so I started in Nkululeko 13 years ago. I think it was time when I found that Nkululeko for many years made me bounce out of bed and be very, very excited about the work that I was doing. And while I still believe in the work, I still believe very strongly in the work. I don't believe I'm the best person to lead it any longer. And that was both a painful realization and a really honest one. The good news, if I've done something right, it's I feel like I have really tried to develop a deep bench of talent at the organization, Zuko being among the very best. And so I knew it was time when I stopped enjoying it as much as I did. So you asked about when were we transferring duties? We're still in the process of doing that. It is not that I'm doing nothing. Now, I'm doing a lot less than I used to do. And Zuko, I would argue, is doing a lot more than he used to do. But I don't think it's all done yet. We intentionally had a very long runway. And that long runway was meant to be able to slowly and intentionally do this. That's what I would say as it relates to that question, Prince.
Okay, thank you. Now, my next question is for you, Zuko. So, Zuko, you mentioned that you had a lot of history in nonprofits on the first episode. So, my question is, with all that history that you've had with nonprofits and the experience that you've had, how does it feel being able to or going to be able to lead your own something of this caliber? And is this your first time doing so?
There's thunder outside in the rain, so I hope it won't interrupt us. Just to answer your question, I think my background in the space and the kind of work that I've been doing kind of propelled and prepared me to be in this position that I am at the moment. And so for me, it's not even a matter of leading the organization, taking over and all of those things. Because I think in my own capacity, I have been leading, in the space. Maybe not in the CEO capacity and all of that, but I've been taking initiative as far as the leadership is concerned in the space. And also for me, this, it simply means that the work must continue, So it's not about the position, the seat, the office, and all of those things. It's about a platform given for me, to continue the work. Maybe now I'm going to do it much better scale. Maybe I'm going to drive it more to a direction that I think, it needs to go to. And also, more than anything, it's just give me an opportunity to serve and also to make sure that we continue on developing, our communities and our people.
Great. Thank you for that. All right. So this next question is for the both of you. So I hope you guys are ready. All right. Can you guys both walk us through the process of transferring responsibilities and how much of a hassle has that been? Because I know that's probably brought a lot of trouble of some sort.
Zuko, you go first.
It has been going well. It has been going well, but I think the past few weeks, were kind of a revelation, or it just dawned on me that part of this process that we've been trying to navigate and maneuver, it has been solely, focused on me as an individual, with all the leadership and management trainings and all of those things. And then now where the transition of the process is how do we then make sure that everyone, buys into, this transition and everyone forms part of the transition from a practical perspective. So it has been great, and I think now it's getting real, real in a sense that we need to be intentional about, kind of like bringing together the ideas and also linking it to, the strategy that the organization needs to take, as far as the development is concerned. So from my side, find more responsibilities, more work, but it has been like that from a broader perspective.
I can answer, and I echo largely what Zuko has shared. I think that the handing off has been, I think it has gone well. One of the things that I've tried to be intentional with is Zuko is going to probably do some of the same. I said this the first time we spoke. Some of the same things that I have done. Some things he's going to do very differently, and that's Zuko's choice to make. But there are some shared things that I think, regardless of who is in this role, are important. For example, I've been very intentional with introducing Zuko to funders in the United States that I know, so that he has the relationship with them moving forward. Regardless of what direction Zuko goes in, he's going to need those funder relationships. And so that's one thing that I've been very intentional with ensuring that he and I do together. The other thing that I have tried to do is to be very much in the background. So say, if Zuko needs me for something, he can reach out to me, but I don't want to be the person making the decisions, because next year I won't be. And so I think it's helpful to have a bit of a runway where folks can try out an idea, move in a certain direction. Zuko sent an email over the weekend to all of us, and this is something that I appreciate, laying out his vision for how this will proceed. And some of it is going to require the board, some of it's going to require Zuko, and some of it's going to require me. And Zuko said in that message, these are the things that I think we need to do, and these are the ways in which I want to pivot and do things differently than Jason. And I think that's great. And I think he needs to work to get everybody on board with that. I'm certainly on board with that. Everybody puts their unique spin on these sorts of things, and Zuko is no exception to that. So I'm really excited to see where he goes. The transferring is an ongoing process, and I'm happy to be sort of slowly fading into the background.
Okay, thank you guys for both your
But overall, Prince, everything has been great. I think we've been doing better because I think this is the first time the organization is kind of like going through this process. And so we're kind of like learning, in the process. So, so far so good. And I think, next time when we meet, we'll be having like a different conversation as to where the process is and how are we planning to finalize the process. So it's a learning process. I think that's what I needed to emphasize.
Okay, yeah. Thank you guys for those great answers. That was really helpful and nice to hear. All right, so this was like a two-parter question. So the second part of my question was, how is this transition structured to ensure organizational continuity?
Building the plane a bit as we fly it. So Zuko has been attending this foundation-sponsored training program for transitions like this. And as part of that, as I mentioned over the weekend, Zuko sent an email laying out his vision for how this will go. In terms of organizational continuity, the programs, I think, are the people that are running the programs can keep doing that. I don't think it particularly matters who is in this role, provided the folks on the ground know how to operate their programs. Now, as I said, Zuko is going to want to do things somewhat, in some ways, probably similar to how I did, and in other ways, very different. And so that part will change, but that part, you don't need to have continuity in every area. You need to have continuity in terms of funding. You need to have continuity in terms of treating people well. I don't think you need to have continuity in terms of doing everything exactly the same way I did. And we probably won't. So that's what I would say as it relates to that. I'm not sure. I'd be keen to hear what Zuko has to share as well.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Jason. And thank you, Prince, for that question. So I think initially, one, I think we need to acknowledge that from the beginning, we structured the transition process so that, since we didn't have like an organizational kind of like succession plan, so the transition plan then served to mitigate that. And I think the transition plan on its own, it serves as a tool for continuity, because everything that we're doing at the moment, all the capacity that I'm building, I'm getting, or the organization is offering me, it kind of like positioned me, it put me in a position where I'm able then to think beyond, in terms of the sustainability of the organization and the direction that the organization needs to take. So as Jason has said, so I've been kind of like attending all these, capacity building, programs, specifically in leadership and in management, so that I become capacitated. And then secondly, also forming part of the legacy program, which really deals in detail with transition processes such as like this. So they have a more like practical program that shall help us navigate this, that shall help us navigate beyond the transition. What does this mean for the organization? What does this mean for the direction that the organization is taking? So I think in terms of continuity, the transition plan on its own has really been intentional in making sure that, one, there is capacity, and then that capacity then shall speak to the sustainability of the organization. So I won't dwell much on the nuances as Jason have dwelled on them. So yeah, but I think broadly it just speaks to that.
After hearing everything I'm hearing, it's a lot to have a nonprofit. It's very time consuming and has a lot, maybe down the line I can do something like that, but for now I'm gonna leave it to the pros. All right. But my next question though is for you, Jason. And do you think it's been bittersweet to kind of just let go of something that you maintained and been the CEO of / founder for 13 years? And where will your role be next within Nkululeko? Will you still be somewhere within the background? Because I said you were kind of trying to fade into the background, or is it just kind of going to do something else? Is that the next for you?
It's very bittersweet. It's very, very bittersweet because it is something that formed a fundamental part of how I saw myself in the world. And I feel like in some ways, I'm not a parent, but I feel like, you raise your kid and then you're like, okay, you're in the world now. I'm not going to be here alongside you, but I'll be cheering you on. I feel a little bit like that. So yeah, it's just because it's hard to do doesn't for me mean it's the wrong thing to do. I think I'm doing the right thing. I think I'm leaving at the right time. I think we have an excellent successor who's here today. But yeah, it's painful as well. In terms of what I will do next, I do not want to be involved in an official capacity. If I did, I wouldn't have left. So I will continue to support Zuko from the sidelines. We have a program that brings American university students to South Africa over the summer. I'd be happy to be involved in that if Zuko wants, but this is going to be largely driven by Zuko. And so I don't want to be involved in the day-to-day. That's part of the reason that I'm leaving. I do want to support the organization and the people who I care about within the organization. And that, I'm not sure what that will look like moving forward. But Zuko and I have already shared, I'll likely help still bring American university students to South Africa. And yeah, it's painful, but it's necessary. So that's the answer to your question, Prince.
I was just going to say, sorry that you have to let go of your child after 13 years. I know it's kind of bittersweet, I would imagine. All right. But my next question, though, is for you, Zuko. And that's from being in the company as long as you have been, how have you been able to just soak up knowledge from Jason and others within the company? And do you feel now that you're becoming the CEO of the company, there's just a bit of added pressure to maintain the quality or kind of elevate it as a whole?
Thank you so much, Prince. I mean, there will always be a pressure if you are feeling in shoes like Jason's shoes. I mean, he has done, incredible work, also the vision. I think he had a vision that I don't even think that he knew when he started that the vision is going to be bigger than him. He created an amazing, thing and, an organization that has probably, grown, beyond, what he expected. So that brings pressure, but I think with all the knowledge that I've been getting, with all the guidance that I've been getting from him, from colleagues, from the board, even from the communities that we work with and the stakeholders that we collaborate and partner with. So, it's going to be a lot of pressure. Also, in the context that we work in, the representation, pressure, to say, now people always say, we must give young people an opportunity to lead. So now when they are given those opportunities, so it adds a little bit of pressure to say, are you going to, lead responsible and accountable and with integrity, and all of those things. So pressure is there, but I think I'm up for, any kind of challenge that might rise, because more than anything, the vision is bigger than me, it's bigger than Jason, it's bigger than all of us, because it's a vision that it has to be done, because we need to bring hope, to a lot of, communities out there. As we always say, we believe in the transformative power of education. So transformation on its own is a process. So one needs to be equipped and be ready and be empowered, for that to happen. So so I'll keep on empowering myself, and also believing that, acquiring all the skills, the necessary skills and the right attitude, to move the mission forward. I'll keep on doing that. And surely maybe in the next, 2 or 3 years, within the role, I'll be, singing a different tune in terms of, do I think I feel pressured and all of those things. But with the support, from colleagues, the board, everyone that is involved within the organization and support the kind of work that we do, and everyone that supports the sector, I think, everything is gonna work well, So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Like I was saying before, I realized I was muted. My next question is for the both of you guys, and that's essentially what's your why? What's the reason that kept you guys both driven? So Zuko mentioned this is bigger than just you guys, and I just want to know what essentially keeps you guys going to keep this trying to elevate, or in your case, Jason, what kept you going to elevate this, and Zuko, what's going to keep you going? Was it motivation mainly, or was it just being disciplined and just saying, hey, I want to do this because I want to help those, and this whole project is bigger than us. We just want to do something special.
Zuko, you go first. I'll follow.
If it was a multiple choice question, I would say all of the above. But I think, for me, the why is very personal for me. The why is very personal, because I'm the product of, rural education, township education. I'm the product of the socioeconomic, issues that we are trying to mitigate. As far as the education is concerned and the entrepreneurship is concerned. In fact, all of the programs that we offer in our organization are concerned. So I'm the product of that. So this is very close to my heart. Not just the work that I do for the organization, but the kind of work that we do for the sector being, the social justice organizations, non-profit sector. So I'm an education sector as a whole. So I'm really passionate about that. And I think there is nothing better than, nothing better that I can do, than what I'm doing at the moment. And besides passion, just to see these social ills, especially as far as the socioeconomic issues, and by extension, some political issues are concerned, you realize that there's so much work that still needs to be done. And, we, if not us, then who, in terms of being at the forefront, leading that and making sure that the next generation is empowered. And we use education as a tool that can change and transform the lives of young people, not just in Makanda, but in the Eastern Cape, and in South Africa, in Africa, as a whole. So for me, that is the why, that is the why.
Prince, one of the things that would be my why would be, I think that there is something really special with providing opportunity and seeing other people take advantage of the opportunity that is presented. There's a famous chef in the United States, and she just wrote a book called Be Ready for When the Luck Comes. And so I don't think necessarily we have to refer to what we do as luck, but I think we do provide opportunities at Nkululeko that I think may not often be available otherwise, or they would look very different. Prince, you are a student of mine, and you know that one of my pet peeves is when opportunities are provided for folks and they do not take advantage of those opportunities. It drives me insane. And so being able to provide opportunities for highly motivated, driven individuals who may not otherwise have these opportunities is really special. The other thing that I would say is there's another quote. I don't know who said it. Barack Obama has said it. I don't know if it's originally from Barack Obama or from somebody else, but it's there's something magical about planting a tree under whose shade you will not sit. And so I think that's what we do at Nkululeko. Some of the learners who come through our program, we may never hear from again. Many of them we do, but it is no guarantee. And there is something very special with planting that tree and seeing what happens. And I think that's the work that we do, and that is my why.
Okay. Wow. Those are really great reasonings or great whys. So I'm going to leave it with this last and final question for the both of you. If you both were to give any advice on for anybody who's trying to, I guess, have their own nonprofit in the future, how to navigate on a situation from transfer or about transferring duties from one CEO and passing down to another, what would you say?
You want me to go first, Zuko? Okay. Well, the first thing, I keep going back to this, but you need to have like a good successor. And Zuko is an excellent person to come next. That's the first thing. So if you don't have the right person, go look for the right person. We had the right person in house. But if you don't have that right person, I think there is sometimes as well this assumption in organizations that length of service equals expertise. And I do not believe that. Zuko is not the longest serving person in our organization. I don't believe at this point, but he is the most qualified to do this. And for me, it is really important to look at who is the most qualified, not who's been here for 40 years, who can do the job that needs to be done now, regardless of how long they have been with you. The second thing is you need somebody who is going to have their own unique way of doing things. I'll go back to what I said earlier. Zuko will likely continue some of the things that I have started and very likely change some of the things that I have done. Both are okay. You do not need a twin, a replica. You don't need that. You need somebody who cares about the mission, who believes in the work, and is going to work hard to continue to amplify the work that we do. So that's what I would say. That's what you need to look for. That's what you need to find. Luckily, we had it in our organization already.
Thank you so much, Jason. I feel like you've said everything, but I want to emphasize on getting someone that will amplify the vision, because there's really a challenge. I've seen it in the South African context, especially in the NGO sector, that you have a founder that have this particular vision, a great vision, and then when the founder leaves, and then someone new, come in the organization, and then things change. The vision changed. I always emphasize that the vision does not need to change. The mission does not need to change, even if the tools or the vehicle to carry that will change. But the vision itself must stand, because it is the reason why there is that organization, or that organization is in existence. So as Jason has mentioned, get the right person, the person that is gonna uphold that vision and the mission. If it changes, it must change it for the better, or it must just be amplified. Because the truth is, not all of us will be able to start, programs or organization from the beginning and all of those things. So we should also be able to position ourselves that when we inherit and put it in very economous organizations, we make sure that at least the least that we can do, we respect the vision and the mission of that organization. Yes, we can we amplify it? Yes. Can we modify it? Yes. But do we have to change it? No. You understand? So I think if you get someone that can, be able to do that, that's the right thing. And then another thing that is very important is to get someone that his heart and his mind is in the space, in the sector. For instance, you cannot say I'm running an accounting firm and then now I'm leaving, and then you take someone that is in humanities, because definitely the way that person sees things and does things might totally be different. It might alter the vision. And then you have many organizations, when the founder or the CEO is leaving, or director is leaving the organization, they will get someone that does not even understand, the context, but because of the person maybe of educational background or career, and then the person will just come in. But you really need someone that is that has expertise and in-depth understanding of the sector. In this case, of the NGO sector that you are running. I think this does not only apply within the NGO space or NPO space. It also applies even with corporate, that you must get someone that really understands the kind of work that you do and the vision that you have as the organization.
Okay. Thank you guys for sitting with me and answering my questions. You guys really provided a lot of great answers that I cannot wait to look back when editing this and putting this together. I would like to thank the people out there who watch this episode. I have really great guests who just always provide really great knowledge and great takeaways. But this is another episode of Catalyst Transferring Nonprofit Leadership, and we will see you guys for episode 3 very soon. Have a good one. Thank you for watching another episode of Catalyst Transforming Nonprofit Leadership, a podcast by Nkululeko. I'm your host, Prince Moise, and I'm glad to be joined by Zuko Gqadavama and Jason Torreano. And please visit their website, nkululeko.org. And now, enjoy the rest of your day.